Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Sebastian. I'm here with another video, um, packet tracer. Today we're gonna set up everything from the scratch. Nothing has been built yet, so we're gonna build. We're gonna set up the network. Okay. So it's really fun activity. I really like this packet tracer where we get to do everything from the scratch. So we're going to implement a small network. So imagine if you have a small business um, that that need networking, that needs the internet to their devices. So how would you do? It's gonna be similar to this setup. They might have a more than so this lab packager is asking only for one router and two switches, but it's the same setup when you go out on the field and when you set up this for a small business. um, okay, so let's get into this. I'm gonna let's start. So one thing I'd like to mention before jumping, here's the addressing table has the IP address for router and then switch 2, but as you can see there is no IP address for PC1 and PC2, and also the default gateway. So basically, to give you some explanation what's happening here, we know that this three, and you guys probably know if you're if you search the IP address, or if you're learning lessons um, on this networking, that three numbers, um, that's your network ID, right? That's not gonna change no matter how many devices you add. And that last piece, that's your device, the number of device, right? So because it's a router one, it has a one. So, and then if you can look down here for switch one, it has exactly the same network ID, but then it's two. So because it's a device two, there's two. So as long as you are within the range of this IP address, you are good. So you can add multiple devices, right? Um, as long as there's available addresses in the network. Um, so that's what we're gonna do. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna carry that, okay, and at the end you can either put 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter. And for this PC2, you're gonna do you're gonna carry that, and then you know maybe do like 4, 5. So this is how I have it right now. So this is how I have it. Okay, so my PC1 gonna be, see, we have exactly the same network ID, and then I put a 3 there, and then 4 for the PC2. Um, and because that's a different interface, it's coming from the different interface, right? So um, when you have a different interfaces, you're gonna have a different network ID if they're connected to two different interfaces. Okay, that's why it's 20.4. And for the default gateway, we're just gonna carry that for router gig 0/0 and the switch, because they're gonna be on the same network. So we're gonna carry that right here. Okay, and then for switch 2, since they're on the same network, we're gonna carry that and put 1. We're gonna carry that because that's your default gateway. That's the router that's supplying the data. That's the main router that's supplying the internet from the outside world. So you don't have any. If you had like another gateway, then yes, you would use that gateway to get that default gateway IP address. But for this course, we're just gonna use that one. Okay, so that's just to explain. Okay, so let's get into this. So step one, obtain the required devices. Okay, click the network devices icon in the bottom toolbar. Okay, let's do that. Click network. Okay, and then click the router icon in the menu. Okay, so it's gonna be router. Okay, come on, why it's not moving. Okay, that's switches. That switches. Okay, that's routers. Okay, and 1941. Okay. Okay, dragon. Okay, we already put it there. And then 2960. That's your switch. Go over to switch. 2960. So we know we need two switches. Just drag two switches here. And then, oh, device two. Okay. You can just cancel that. And go over to end devices. And we're going to do PC 1. And then we're going to do PC 2. Okay. All right. Kind of put it right there. Okay. All right. So that's it. That's all the devices that we need for this. Packet tracer now. Arrange the icon layout by dragging. Okay. We are done with the step 1. Okay. Now let's move on to step 2. Name the devices. Okay. So name that. Let's just copy the RTA. You can also do like that and go over there, and you're gonna do switch 1. Okay, close that. Okay, then you're gonna do switch 2, and then float over there, right there. Click OK. Then we're gonna do PC dash 1. Okay, and then PC dash 2. Okay. All right. So we have named all the devices per the packet tracer exactly. Okay, now okay, so we're done with step 2, naming the devices. Okay, now step 3, connect the devices. Okay, so do that. You're gonna go over here where it says connections, and then we're gonna use copper straight through. Okay, now for the router, it's gonna be on the gigabit Ethernet 0, and switch 1 gonna be on Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet 1. Okay, and let's go there, and it's gonna be 0 1. Switch 1 gonna be 0 1 as well. Okay, okay. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and switch 1. That's gonna be fast Ethernet 01, PC Ethernet O. Go here. We're gonna use the 01, and then here. Okay, awesome. So we have this setup. As you can see right here, because nothing has been configured, we haven't configured anything, so you can see this the red icon means there's no connection right now. Nothing's been nothing's been configured. Okay, so, and as we change stuff here, as we start to configure, this will change. Okay, so this one's actually talking, but this will change. So configure the router. Okay, configure basic settings. So we're gonna configure the basic settings. Okay, so router host name as shown in the addressing table 1. Okay, so do that. I'm gonna move this guy right here. Okay, now that's gonna be enable. You have to be in config term. Now host name RTA, because we want to change that to RTA. Okay, nice. So that's good. Now number 2, configure Cisco ENPA 55 as the encrypted password. Okay. Now this is gonna be the password for enable. The privilege exit mode password. Okay. Secret Cisco ENPA 55. Okay, that's good. Now we're gonna do configure Cisco line PA 55 as the password on the lines. Okay, so this is gonna be line console line. Okay, 0. So it's gonna be when you log into, when you first pull up the CLI command for RTA, you have to put this password in order to get inside the router. Okay, put that, and we're gonna do password. It's gonna be Cisco line PA 55. Okay, and log in, exit out of it. Awesome. Now all lines should accept connections. Okay, so we know we have line VTY for remote access. Password gonna put PA, same password as the line console 55, and then log in, exit out of it. Okay, now what we're gonna do is now we're gonna do configure an appropriate message of the day banner. Okay, so before we do that, I'm gonna do service. Doesn't really matter which one you do, but encryption. Okay, so this will encrypt the password. Okay, and now we can do banner MOTD. You can just do, you can do dollar. Oops. Banner MOTD hashtag. So we're gonna say unauthorized access is strictly prohibited. Okay, let's put that and put a hashtag at the end. Okay, nice. So that message is set up. And B, configure interface settings. Okay, so we're gonna configure interface settings. Okay, and addressing. Okay, now we're gonna assign the address to that interface. We have this right here, interfaces, right? So let's do, but we're gonna work on the router first. Okay, so the router interface is gonna be int 0-0. Okay, now we're inside the router interface. Let's assign IP address 10.10.10.1 255.255.255.0. Okay, all right, and then no shutdown. Okay, and then exit. Okay, nice. So the first interface has been configured. Now let's go to second one in 0-1, and then IP address 10.10.20.1. It's gonna be 255.255.255.0. Okay, and then we're gonna do okay. Actually, I forgot to do description. We have to. So where it says okay, description on the interfaces. Okay. Okay, so we need to do description as well. So that's gonna be, you can type description link to SW. Oh, this is SW. This is gonna be 2. Okay, because yep, that is on the 2. Okay, it's on the 2. That IP address right there is on the switch number 2. That's why. Okay, now we do that and no shutdown exit. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the interface because I didn't do this. Back to the interface gig 0. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna description, just type description link to SW1. Okay, I hope that's gonna work. Actually, let's go ahead and redo everything on here. So make sure it works properly. Okay, we're gonna go back here to the interface. IP address gonna be 10.10.10.1. Okay, then 255.255.255.0. Okay, now we're going to do description link to SW1, and then we're going to do no shut down and then exit. Okay, I hope that took it. All right, so we are and then last we want to do okay, get out of that config mode and then copy running desk config, start up desk config. Okay, save it. All right. Okay, so we're done with the router configuration. We have assigned the IP address to both interfaces. So now we can close that one out. Now let's go. We were on here. Okay, now so step 2, configure switch 1 and switch 2. A, configure the default management interface so that it will accept connection over the network from local and remote host. Use the values in the addressing table. Okay, configure an encrypted password using the value in step 1A. So step 1, sorry, where we at? Okay, step 1A. So we're going to use that as the encrypted password. Okay. Yes. Okay, so we're going to use the same password here. Okay, for the switch and switch 2. Okay, and configure the switches so that they can send data to host and remote networks and save configuration. Okay, so let's work on this on the switch. Let's open up switch 1. All right, now let's do switch 1. Let's do enable here. Enable config. Now we can change host name to SW1. 1. Okay, awesome. So SW1 has been, okay, the name for the switch one, and then enable password gonna be Cisco ENPA 55. Oh, okay, not login. We're gonna go over to line console 0. Okay, and then we're gonna do password for that console. We're gonna put Cisco line PA. But in the real world, you know, you're gonna have a different password for each device. But we're just gonna put same for here. Exit. Okay, now let's go over to line. It's your remote access. Okay, for password Cisco line PA 55. Login, exit out of it. Okay, and then we're gonna do service. This is gonna encrypt the password. Encryption. Okay, now we need to do VLAN. So we need to assign IP address to that switch. So that's gonna be, the interface gonna be VLAN 1. Okay, so int VLAN 1. Okay, that's gonna be now IP address gonna be 10.10.10. okay, .2. So device 2. The network ID gonna stay the same, and then we know that's device 2 on the network, and then 255.255.255.0. okay, there's enter. No shutdown. No exit. Okay, and now the default IP default gateway gonna be 10 dot, because we only have one router, which is the default router. Okay, so we're gonna use the same IP address that we used for gigabit Ethernet, because it's on the interface gigabit Ethernet O/O. Okay, and then hit entered, and then end. Okay, now we're gonna copy running dash config start up dash config. Okay, save it on there. Awesome. So switch 1, we're done with the switch 1. Close this one out. Let's go back. Let's go to the switch 2. Hit enter, enable, and then you want to go config term, and then host name gonna be SW2. All right, and then enable. Let's enable. Put the password for the enable prompt. It's gonna be Cisco ENPA 55. And then okay, so now let's configure line. Let's put password for line console 0. It's gonna be password Cisco line PA 55, and then we're gonna log in. We're gonna exit, and let's put a password for remote access, which is 024. That's the number of interfaces. Password Cisco line PA 55. Okay, and then log in, exit out of it. Now we're gonna run service password test. encryption, and then okay, so now we need to assign the IP address to VLAN 1 interface. So int VLAN 1, okay, IP address 10.10.20.2, the number 2 device on the network, 255.255.255.0. okay, now no shutdown, and then exit. So default IP address gonna be default IP gateway 10.10.20.1. okay, and okay, awesome. Now we're gonna run copy running dash config startup dash config. Okay, all right, so we are done with both switches. Now we're gonna close this one out now. Okay, so we're done with this one. Now let's move on to step 3. It's gonna configure the host. All right, so we're gonna go here, IP address, and then static. Okay, so the IP address for this PC one gonna be, we have already talked about this, 10.10. It's gonna be 10 dot, I'm gonna put 3 because that's the number 3, that's the third device on the network, number 3. okay, and then we're gonna put subnet mask gonna be 255.255.0, and the default gateway gonna be version 1 router, so that's gonna be 1 for this interface. And okay, so I think that's good. Close this one out, go over to PC2 config. Now let's do 10.10.20 dot, I'm gonna put 4, actually just 3, because it's the third device on that, on this interface, on this network. okay, and then I'm gonna put 255.255.0. okay, and then default gonna be 10.20.1. then okay, close this one out. Okay, and I want to ping this, let's ping PC2 from PC1. okay, command prompt, let's ping 10.10.20. It's 3. okay, nice, successful. We were able to ping PC2 from PC1. Awesome. I'm going to close this one. Let's go to the PC2 and let's ping PC1. Ping dot 10.3, right? Yeah. Let's hit enter right away. Awesome. So successful. We have successfully implement a small network, and now all the traffics are sending and receiving data. Now that router is talking to everything in the network. Now we can, we can receive, we can send information from PC1 to PC2. So your internal network is good to go. It's everything all set up, 100% completion. So thank you again for watching the video. If you find this video very helpful to you, if you like the content, please give a thumbs up or support the channel. and I will see you with another video. Have a good night.